Hi everyone, I'm Peter Wasonga, a Windows developer from Kenya, and I love coding. So today, I'll take you through a simple tutorial on how you can create a simple SQL database, link it up to WCF service, then you can call that WCF service on any Windows-based application. Also, you can upload the same service onto a Windows Azure cloud service where you can link it up to any other application on any platform. So to start, we go to the SQL Management Studio. And first of all, you'll be prompted to log in. Then you move to Database. Right click on the database, create a new database. I call this database contact. Book. The database will just contain a table called contact that will contain a list of all the contacts that one can store. I come to the table, add new table. I'll provide the ID of a user, should be an integer type. Next, I'll provide the name of voucher 50. The ID shouldn't be null. Next, I'll provide the number of a type integer. Now that does it, so shouldn't be null too. Then I just hit save. Then I'll provide the table name, call it tbl_context, and do OK. I'll simply refresh the table. Then you'll be able to view all the columns that you've added over here. So I'm going to insert some dummy values onto the table using the insert to operator. New query. So great, provide me this query for starters. Let's just feed in some new values over here. Provide an ID of 1 for my first user. Name, I'll just use my name for this test. Then I provide the number that I want to store. 723. Okay, so with that, just execute my first query. Awesome, query executed successfully. I add my second contact, call him or her John, and hit cows. Just change the number here 6. Do that, execute, successful. And the third person, what's your name? Call it Nokia Lumia. Yeah, I love it so much. 7. And just go and execute that. Successful. So with that, I'll check whether the values have been added on the table by simply right clicking, select the top 1000 rows. Nice. So I'll be able to get the ID, name, and number. This is a simple SQL query that would allow you to select the top 1000. You can then change the values here, like you can select the top 2 from the ID. Like that, I'll get the 2. Just go back to the default. It makes no difference. Yep, so to give me the values that I want. So with that, you've created your simple table. We then navigate to Visual Studio. Go to a new, not project, should go to a new file, new website. We'll pick an ASP empty website and provide it with a name, call it contact book site, then hit OK. So Visual Studio create it. Then with that, we're almost done. We just right click on the website that we added, go to add and add a new item. Then we are going to add the link to SQL class like that. I'll just take the default name. it will ask me to whether I want to create the app code folder. Do yes. Great. So pause. So once you're done creating, it will open for you this data class.dbml as just the extension of the link to SQL. You can go to Server Explorer. If you don't see the Server Explorer, just come to View, then go to Server Explorer. Then under Data Connection, you click Connect to the database. It has that electrical plug icon. Hit on it. I'll pick a Microsoft SQL server. Then, if you want to query anything inside, local to your computer, you'd hit the full stop, then refresh. Take some time. Cool. Then I'll come to select or enter the database name. I'll pick, my database was called Contact Book, so I'll pick that. Sorry, Contact Book. Test connection, successful. Then I hit OK. Once it has created, you can then navigate to the tables and be able to see all the columns that you had entered. For this step, I'll just drag it over and leave it like that. Then hit Ctrl S to save. So with a few lines of code, I've created my first you just created like a connection thing that should link to your classes. The next step is to create a WCF service. You'll just right click on the project, add new item. I go down and search for WCF, not the Ajax, but yeah, WCF service. I'd call it contact service. Then I'll go to add. So once it has added it, so just pick the operation contract, copy that, paste it. Then I'll change the parameter here. I want it to return a JSON string that we can later deserialize within our application. So you could just go and change the return type of the operation to string. Call the method get, it's a public method, so it has to be get contact. The parameter that it should be taking, do something fancy. You need to take a string of ID. So I'll show you how you can pass, or rather convert from one data type to another. Show you how you can do that in a sec. Just remember to copy that. Great. Then with that, we'll then navigate to the contact service.cs. Inside the class, you just paste the method that I copied on top. It has to be of a public type, so you can access it globally. Public. Cool. You're almost done. So I go in the data class, data context. I call it DC. That happens. DC, no need for a connection string right now. Done it. Then just hold on like that. The next stuff that I'd want a variable, call it JSON, maybe like that. Then the next piece of work that I want to do is I need what's called as a Java script C Liza, call it JSS. All the time I get confused on the serializer thing. If I get it right, yep, got it right. Yep. So the stuff that I need to work with that. The next thing would be to create a variable, call it results. Then just use from result in the DC dot, what was the table name, tbl. You know, we'll be able to access the table as a C# property, which is awesome. Where, just use a where clause for this, where result dot id is equivalent to the id that you'd pass as a parameter. See, yep, I need to pass it because remember the result id is of a type integer, so I'll use integer 32 to pass id. Sorry, then come to select result. Nice, so that will give us a result which meets this particular id that you are passing over here, and then I will store it in a variable called results. The next thing would be, since I want to return a string, and remember this is of a collection type, so I'll use the JavaScript serializer, which will serialize the object, rather the collection, into a string that I'll return as the return type of the function. So to do that, it's just a simple method. Just do the JSS.serialize. I would pass an object. It's neutral actually, so you can pass an object of results. So let's just hit a return from here. Great stuff. Sorry about that. I didn't specify the return type of this method. That's a bad programming practice. It should be of a type string. Great. So telling my main ID, I was supposed to use the JSON variable just to hold it here first. Maybe later on I can use some criteria. Then return the JSON string that would receive from the serialize method. Great. So with that few lines of code, you have created your web service that will be able to query from the database a contact, then to return for you the contact in a string. You can test that by navigating to your service, right click it, and then run in a browser. Great, it works. So the next part would be to add what's called consumer application that would use this service to do a certain task. So come to the solution, add a new project, and add a Windows 8 blank application project for this matter. Call it consumer. Then I do OK. Take a few minutes to add it. Okay, I've added it. So just create the simple UI that would allow me to pass in the ID, query it back, and then it will display for me the JSON string. Since I have no internet connection wherever I am currently, I can't be able to download the Newtonsoft JSON DLL for the Windows platform. So I'll just show you guys the literal string of JSON. Space that, fit all. Okay, so first thing I want to create is a stack panel that would hold all the controls. The first control would be a text block to just explain to the user what's inside there. Text, I'll call it enter ID. Cool. Let me have an horizontal alignment over center. Great. Then I'll have specify a width of size 400 to widen it up. Then I'll create a font size that to be around 40. Great, now that's visible. Then set its horizontal alignment to center too. Awesome. The next control that I want to add would be let me just add some margin on top and bottom. So margin 0, some space like of 30. Cool. The next thing to do would be to create a text box. Name it txt id. Then I'd specify a height of around 30. This is 60. Great. The next part would be another text block. Name it txt result. That would hold the result to have a height of just let me show height over here. Height of roughly 300. Pretty big, but yeah, worth it. Then I'll try a font size of just work with 40 still. Cool. Then the next bit would be to add a button. Call it btn get contact. Content has to be get contact. Get horizontal alignment of center. Then I think that was too large. 100 would be okay for that. Yes, exactly. Then let me remember to add text wrapping to be wrapped so that we can narrow it down to that window. Then for the button, I just increase the height a bit. It's visible to the eye. 70. That's small. Like 150. Cool. Then the font size, I'd have to add it to around 40. Great. So that's just my simple UI. You click it, it gets for you the till I can bring it down exactly and widen it a bit. Awesome stuff. So you click the button, it will get for you the list of contact that you have specified its ID. So just navigate to the code. Then just going to add an event for the click the button. So click event handler. Just go to that definition. Great. So the next stuff, we need to add some references to our project. Right click add a service reference. Hit discover to discover within the solution. Then you can narrow down to your contact service. And the one thing I want you to note, you see the method get contact is visible. I'd call these contact service. That's how I call it in my code. So it will add it as a reference. Cool, it has been added over there. So in order to use it, I'll just do contact service dot contact service client. I call it my CS. So I need a contact service. Then I do CS dot that can call get contact sync. Note it's an asynchronous method, so that would mean you have to add the sync. Then it should return to me a variable. I call that the JSON string. It has to get it in and await. Then I need to pass the ID. I'll just use that txt id dot text. Cool. Then after that, I'll just have to go back to the results. Results.text. Then I'll append the JSON string that would be returned to it. And with that few lines of code, let me just run the consumer application. Set as a startup project. Hit run. So pass an ID, one, get contact. Awesome. You see, I've gotten the JSON string of the contact that I'd stored. So I can then add a library, but since I have no internet connection, I'll just work with what I have right now. I'll just return the JSON string that I can deserialize later on to convert it into a class object. Let me try another integer index 2. Let me try out of range. Get another. So basically it queries from the database. So with that, thank you for watching, and if you like it, you can subscribe on my channel. I'm still a newbie on the tutorials, but I hope I'll catch up with it soon. Otherwise, thank you and have a great day.